Hello, everyone. This is week number 16 of my 52-week challenge to do a weekly LinkedIn live stream. I'm here today with Ryan Nolan. He's the owner of Breakout Cards, and we'll be talking about sports card trading and NFTs or non-fungible tokens. So, very interesting topic today. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself, Steven?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I tend to have these on my Fridays, which is the day I don't have to work, but that's when I do all my errands. So it's always a busy day, but I'm always happy to be here.
Thanks for inviting me out.
Yeah, no, I'm really curious about this topic as well. So I'm excited to hear some of your insights as well. Ryan, do you mind spending a couple minutes sharing a little bit of who you are?
Yeah. So my name is Ryan Nolan. I've been in sports cards for 15 plus years. I started when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old. My dad once owned a baseball card shop way before I was born, but learning from him over the years, I learned the hobby quite a bit. On the professional side, since I know it's a little bit about LinkedIn as well. So last year I graduated with a degree from electrical engineering from University of Central Florida. And then a little bit about my hobbies. So besides doing sports cards, I also enjoy playing the guitar and running ultra marathons.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're kind of getting into our icebreaker here. So I'd like to start all my LinkedIn lives with an icebreaker here. And usually I go first, but since you kind of touched about it, I'll let you share your 2 truths and a lie. I'll do my best guess here, and then I'll have people in the audience guess as well. So yeah, I'll put it on the screen here, and then Ryan, I'll let you share.
Sounds good. All right. So first is I ran a 100K around UCF because COVID canceled my graduation. Number 2, I have over 100,000 sports cards in my collection. And number 3, I've been playing the guitar for over 10 years.
Is that a typo on 100K? Should it be 10K or is it 100K?
No, 100K.
That's 100K. I think that's insane. I just ran 5 miles today, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could run tomorrow. I don't know how the heck you ran 100K, which is 60 miles, I think.
Yep, 62.
62. Okay.
And it was a 2.35 mile loop, so I just kept running it over and over again.
Oh man, I did my 5 miles today all on the track, and I was slowly going insane. The only thing that helped me was a guy who was running in the opposite direction, so I just saw him every 200 meters. So that kind of kept me sane. But man, I don't know how you do it. So yeah, if you're watching, guess which one of these is Ryan's lie. Okay, so the 100K, I think I believe you. We talked about you're doing like the ultra marathons. That is just insane in general. Like I just can't believe that. Number 2, you have 100,000 sports cards in your collections. Man, you have all these round numbers here: 100K, 100,000, 10 years. This is tough. So I'm deciding between number 2 and number 3 here. Hey, Andrew. How's it going? Yep. And you think number 3 is the lie, so you don't think Ryan has been playing the guitar for over 10 years. So, man, this is a tough one. Earlier you said you like running, you like guitars, and you have a bunch of sports cards. So this is probably one of the hardest ones I've had here. So give everyone another maybe 10 seconds here to put in their guess, and then I'll share what my guess is.
Didn't want to make it easy.
Hey, well, this is why I do this. Okay, my guess is number 2. Andrew thinks it's number 3. My guess is number 2. So Ryan, which one of these is your lie?
Yeah, the lie is number 2. I probably have like 20 or 30,000 cards, but I don't have 100,000.
Yeah, so. For just curious, with the 20 to 30,000 that you have, are these like everything you bought, or you traded? Like, how did you amass so many?
Kind of a mixture of both. So I go online, I buy a lot of cards through eBay. I also go to card shows every single weekend and then document the experience, buying cards from different dealers, trading, and everything along the lines with that.
And do you just have like a big binder, kind of like, with like little slots for all of these, or like how do you store these cards?
No, so I actually have boxes. So each card has a different way to store it. Putting in a binder is actually one of the worst ways because the cards can get damaged, increase over time. So each baseball card, which I mainly collect, has a penny sleeve, which is like a small plastic. Let me actually get a card, for example. So grab one, for example, over here. All right. So, for example, this is a Barry Bonds card right here. It's not an expensive card, maybe like a $5 card. So the outside is a normal plastic container that the cards are stored in. And then on the inside, there's a plastic sleeve, which I'll pull that out right now so you can see. So you can kind of see it a little bit closer right here, the plastic on the card around the outside. So these are called penny sleeves. And it's a good way to protect the cards. Usually you get 100 penny sleeves for $1, and that's why they have it like that. So you put that, and then you put them in one of the plastics. And then you can throw them in a box. Now, some of the other cards I have, which I'm going to grab one for an example, is a graded card. And you can get cards graded by companies like PSA or SGC. And what that does is it encapsulates a card, and then they give it a grade. So let me grab an example right now for that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is an example of a card right here. This is graded by a company called Beckett. And this is a BVG, so Beckett Vintage Grading. And this is a 1971 Willie Mays. Now, this card is encapsulated. Like there's a thick container around it. So it's going to stay like this forever. Really good way to hold the cards. Now, each card, when you send it in, gets a numerical grade 1 through 10, or an authentic grade if the card can't be graded because of different issues. Now, I don't want to get too technical, but let's say, for example, a card has been altered, like someone tried to manipulate the card itself, or like the back of the card is completely gone, or there's holes in the card where the structure isn't there. That's why an authentic grade might be given to a specific card. Otherwise, the company's going to give it a grade 1 through 10, 1 being really, really bad shape, completely rounded corners, creases, and everything like that. And then 10 having fully sharp corners, nothing wrong with the surface, nothing wrong with the edges. It looks like you just pulled it straight from a pack. And even if you did pull a card straight from the pack, it's not guaranteed to be a 10. Most of the time, it's guaranteed to be between an 8 and a 10.
Oh man, I'm learning a lot already here, but we'll get a little more detail for that. So yes, I did get it right on your 2 truths and a lie here. I'll share my 2 truths and a lie. I wanted to keep it sports related as well, so I'll put it on the screen here. Okay, so number 1, I've been to more baseball games than Warrior games, and I have a Warriors banner right there. Number 2, I can dunk a basketball. And number 3, I have not ran 100K, but I have ran a half marathon before. So if you're watching, guess which one of these is my lie. Any initial thoughts here, Ryan?
I think I know what the lie is, but I'm going to ask, how tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
5'11". Okay. I'm going to let the people guess real quick, and then I'll say my answer.
You have any initial thoughts here? You want to just throw out your guess?
Yeah, so I know you said you're doing your 100-mile running challenge, and we're talking a little bit. So I'm thinking it's the half marathon. I could see you going to a lot of baseball games because you said you're interested in baseball cards. And then you didn't specify a team, so I'm guessing you're on the West Coast, so you could see maybe the Dodgers, you could see the Giants or the Angels, multiple teams rather than just the Warriors. Number 2, I dunk a basketball. You might be able to. There's people that can jump off high off the ground. So I'm between 2 or 3. I'm gonna guess 3.
All right. So you think you think I haven't ran a half marathon before?
Correct.
Okay. And then we got Thomas here. He thinks number 3. So it's okay. I don't know which one you're guessing here, Thomas. Is it number 3 or is it number 2? Okay, I'll give everyone another 5 to 10 seconds here. Okay. Adrian knows the answer. Okay, Adrian, what's your guess? Which one do you think is the lie? Yeah, I've been doing these icebreakers for all my LinkedIn lives, and I will admit I've reused a lot of them before, like just pick random ones. So if you watch all my LinkedIn lives, you'll know which one. At this point, you probably figure out which one's true, which one's the lie. So, all right.
It's a good way to repurpose the content, though.
Yeah. Hey, well, it's hard to come up with lies. You know, it's like.
Oh, it is.
All right. So Ryan thinks it's number. Got one last comment here. All right. So Adrian thinks it's number 2. So I'll put this back on the screen. Adrian thinks I can't dunk a basketball, and Ryan and Thomas thinks I haven't ran a half marathon. And the lie is number 2. I cannot dunk a basketball.
Really? So you ran a half marathon.
I
Which one
did.
did you run?
I ran a half marathon back in 2018, and that was definitely the most toughest physical thing I've ever done. It took me like 2 weeks to like be able to walk again.
They do that
But
to you.
no, it was definitely a great sense of accomplishment. I set a goal for myself to not walk at all. So that was, maybe around mile 10 or 11, I hit the wall. So I was like, kind of like a slow jog at like 12-minute pace. But, I didn't stop. I just kept on going. So definitely a great sense of accomplishment. And, the funny thing was I tried to get my friends to run it and they said, absolutely not. And then 4 months after that race, they said, hey, you want to go run a 5K? I'm like, where were you guys last year? But anyways, that's my two truths and lies. So I have ran a half marathon. I cannot dunk a basketball. At one point, I was like 2 inches away from doing it, but that was one of the regrets I had. So, but yeah, no, thanks everyone for participating here in our two truths and lie. Yes, Adrian, you know me very well. We know each other so well. We take each other's guests for our own LinkedIn lives. It's just a little inside joke here. So yeah, if you want Ryan to join your live, I think that'd be pretty cool as well. So
yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, so let's go into our topic about sports card trading. Ryan, you shared a little bit about your background in cards. Do you want to share that in a little more detail here?
Yeah, so I've been in the card game for 15 years, and I run a website and YouTube channel called Breakout Cards. And every single week, I'm publishing 4 to 5 pieces of content about the baseball and sports card industry. On the weekends, I go to different card shows, mostly in the Florida, but I do travel out to Dallas where they have the biggest card show in the country. And I'm out there talking to different dealers, different collectors, and investors about the state of the hobby, figuring out where people are headed with investment-wise, where people are going to buying cards and what they're selling. So I know the market pretty well. I know that right now there's a ton of money flowing into it from a lot of really high-end people like Gary V, Dan Fleyshman, among others, like Pat Flynn as well. They're throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars towards baseball cards and sports cards now instead of your typical stocks, your real estate. They're going for pieces of paper now.
Yeah, so that was actually a good segue here. I actually had this lined up here. So why are these influencers so into cards? Like what makes, for me, just a naive kind of point of view. Yeah, it's a baseball card. Yeah, maybe, there's only 100 of these, so that's why it's so expensive. But why has there just been a huge trend and huge following behind it?
Yeah, it's really like 3 or 4 different markets in one. So first part of it, you have the collector side of things. So baseball cards have been around since the 1800s. The oldest card in my collection right now is an 1887 John Clarkson, but they've been around for hundreds of years and they're not going to go away anytime soon. So you have a devoted fan base of people collecting cards all the way from 1887 to 2021. The second thing is it's art. So people out there display their cards as art forms. There's companies that you can take graded cards and throw it onto a canvas and everything like that. Different designs people think are iconic. Like when you think of baseball, you think of the 1952 Mickey Mantle baseball card by Topps. Everyone knows what that card looks like. Even if you're not in the baseball card industry, you can think of Mickey Mantle because of his 1952 baseball card. There's the people that are really into like stats and analytics. So your typical sports nerds that are going to collect the cards because each card has the data on the backside of it. And before there's the internet, how else are you going to get all those stats from players? You're going to get it from the baseball cards. So those same people that were born before the internet are still going to collect these cards years after years because they were into it and they're still going to do it. And then the fourth thing is it's kind of a form of betting. When you look at it with like a typical sports bet, at the beginning of the year, you bet on who's going to be an MVP or who's going to win the World Series. Well, now you can bet with a card. You can bet, okay, this player is going to win the World Series this year, or this player is going to have a breakout season. His rookie card right now is $10. If he does well this year, it's going to shoot up to $20. Well, guess what? If he does well, now the $10 is $20, and you can either sell the card, you can trade it, or you can hold on to it. Versus your typical sports betting where you go out there and you bet on a team or player, right? You do make money from it, but if your team comes in second place, you're completely out. If your player comes in second place or comes in second place MVP or wins the World Series or doesn't win the World Series, it can still go up at the end of the year. So you aren't out that full investment. Plus, on the other side of things, you now have an asset which you can trade for cash at shows rather than having the paper trail where if you're going out and betting at a casino that's linked to you, people trade cards directly for cash. I've seen $40,000, $50,000 cash transactions on tables just like that.
Man, that is insane, and you make a great point, right? It's a little related to betting, right? Because like you said, you buy someone's rookie card, you're making a bet, right? Like, hey, this might be a good investment in the future because I see this player breaking out, I see this player winning, multiple MVPs or winning World Series or championships or whatever, and that's definitely. And I guess when you start trading it, right, you have to make that. You have to make that decision on, hey, is this card going to be worth more than what I'm getting right now, right? And of course, you win some and you lose some there. Can you share like some other things that determine the value of a card? We talked about the quality of the card. We talked about kind of the value of the player, kind of like their performance. Is there anything else that adds to the value of a card?
Yeah, so I'll say the first thing with a card, you want to look for the rookie card of a player. So that's the first year a player entered a league. And with like baseball cards, they'll put RC on it for rookie card. Now, among collectors and investors, rookie cards hold the top value because that is their first card ever produced. Another type of card you want to take a look for are autograph in jersey cards. So players will go out there and sign a card, and that is considered an autograph card. And then cards that have a piece of a jersey that they wore in the game. So let's say, for example, this was a jersey and Mike Trout had this jersey on in the game. A company like Topps will buy this jersey, cut it up, and then throw a piece into a card. Now that is a jersey card. And if you look at the high end, like basketball cards that are going for $100,000, $200,000 that are rookies, they're called RPAs, rookie patch autograph. So you get a patch from the jersey, you get the on a card. So having all three of those on a card, people are very, very desirable with that. Another thing you want to look at is if a card is serial numbered. So a lot of the rookie cards are just base cards. So they might print 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 of these cards. However, some cards that are like the RPAs are limited to 99 copies or less. Some are even limited to only one in the world. So having that limited edition card, there's so many people that want to have it that creates the demand for the card, which shoots up through the roof. Next thing you want to take a look at is the brand of the card itself. So there's different tiers of brands. So like at the very top of brands right now, I'm just gonna use like the basketball market, for example, you have something like National Treasures, which is a few $1,000s a box, and Flawless, which is just a few $1,000s a box as well for just a few cards. But in the lower end of things, you might have Donruss or Hoops, which you can buy a blaster box for $30 or $40 and you get like between 50 and 100 cards versus those high-end boxes, which you only get between 5 and 8 cards and you're paying a few $1,000s. So your brand really matters. Your serial numbers matter on the cards, as well as if there's a jersey or autograph. We also talked about a little bit about the grades. The higher the grade, the more valuable a card is worth, and that goes from a 1 all the way to a 10.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been eye-opening for me so far. If you're watching, you have any questions, drop it in the comments, and Ryan can help answer it. That was very interesting. You said like you can actually put like a jersey like is it on the card itself, or is it like does it come with the card? How does that work?
Yeah, let me show you one. Let me grab one for a second. I'll grab 2 different cards. I'll show you an autograph card and like a jersey card. Okay, so this is an example of a jersey card. And not all jersey cards are expensive, but this is Zach Greinke. He's a pitcher in baseball. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. This is only like a $5, $10 card. But you can see how there's like a little hole in the card and that there's the jersey in there.
Oh,
now, this is an autograph card. This is one of the best younger players in hockey. And you can also see the serial number on this. So this card is numbered 49 of 100. Oops. You can see that right there.
Yeah.
I know there's a little bit of a glare. So the player just signed it right onto that card.
And that card, what's the value of that one? Since there's only 100 of them.
So this hockey card right here is worth about, I think, $60 to $75.
Okay.
I paid $25 for it a few weeks ago, but I knew it was undervalued at the time at the card show. So I paid $25 for this card. It sells online for $75. So it's $50 profit pretty much before fees and shipping and everything like that. So when you kind of find those type of deals, you create income through that. The other card, it's like I said, it's only like a $5 or $10 card. It's not too expensive.
Yeah. So with the value, a lot of it's of course there's like a market price for it, but of course there's like that personal kind of value put on it as well, right? So it's very interesting on when you get into trading and then selling cards and buying cards. It's definitely a interesting topic because we don't do that day to day. Like we don't trade like to get food, right? To get groceries. But so this is definitely very interesting here that you're trading cards, people are trading for cash, people have a certain value for these type of cards here. You talked about it a little briefly earlier. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about the different types of cards? You talk about the rookie cards, you talk about autographed and jersey cards, the limited edition ones. Are there any other different types that you want to point out?
Yeah, I also want to talk about the different eras of cards. So currently, like any card that's printed before 1970 or after 1975 is considered a modern card. So even cards in like the 80s or 90s that are 30 now 40 years old, a lot of collectors will consider that modern. Next, you have vintage cards, which are between 1948 and then all the way to 1975. That's considered vintage. Next, you have the pre-war era cards, and that's anything before World War II. And that's what I personally collect and go after is pre-war cards because they're so scarce to find and people don't really know about these players in general. And I'm like a baseball historian. I really like going throughout the history, and some of the best players ever were part of these eras. You have people like Babe Ruth, you have Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Mel Ott, Christy Mathewson, Walter Johnson, players that are just very, very iconic and wouldn't have baseball history without them. So those are the type of cards I like collecting for my own personal collection. But that is the oldest era, pre-war. That's all the way from the 1800s to 1942 for World War II. Then you have vintage cards, which mostly is from 48 all the way to 75. And then you have the modern era, which is 76 to today.
Okay. Yeah. And just, you said you're a baseball fan. What's your team?
I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan. So I grew up in the Tampa Bay area. I live in Orlando now, but Tampa is my team. So I always support the Rays.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, no, definitely. Very cool. So, and then I guess my next question is, okay, you shared a lot about, cards, you talked about the value of them. A lot of influencers are into it. Now I have some background knowledge. How do I get started? What's the best place to buy cards?
Yeah. So when you're first starting out, the best place to buy cards is eBay because you can see what other cards have sold for recently. And then you can also find what card you're looking for. Now, like when you're trying to find pre-war cards, they're not on eBay because they're very, very scarce. But when you're going after modern cards, there should be enough out there between all the different variations and things like that. You can also go to a card show once you start learning, but I wouldn't recommend going right away because it's really easy to get burned from dealers. They'll find out pretty fast if you know anything about cards or if you're someone that's brand new to the hobby, and they're going to charge over eBay price. And why are you paying a dealer more than eBay when you can buy the card and know it's legit, know that you're going to get it shipped to you and everything like that?
Yeah. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about what's the experience like when you're at these trade shows? Like how many people are there? Is it like just in a big convention center? You got booths everywhere. It's just, do they have like live auctions type of things? Like what's that experience like?
Yeah. So these trade shows, they honestly range in size. Some of them are 30, 40 tables, and some of them go up to 600 and 700 tables. So dealers will typically have a few different tables out there, and they'll throw all their cards in either like a display or a box where you can go through. Some dealers have dollar cards and 10-cent cards. Other dealers only have cards that are $1,000 plus. So it's a wide variety of everything. There's all walks of life. There's people that are 5 years old that go to these shows. There's people that are 73 that go to the shows. So you literally can find anything and everything at these shows. Vintage, pre-war, modern cards. It's like a buyer's experience just walking around. But as a new buyer into the sports card market, you really have to be educated and know what you're looking for because people have markups on cards and you might get burned on that. You might get burned on a dealer having a card that isn't in good shape and you go and buy it and you come home and realize, oh, it's not in good shape. You can't get a refund. So be very careful at these shows. Start educating yourself a little bit more on cards, like condition wise, specific cards and everything like that before you go out there.
Yeah. Other than your YouTube channel, do you recommend any good resources for people just trying to get a little more educated in this?
Yeah. I mean, I'd recommend also taking a look at like Beckett. So Beckett has a magazine and a website as well, and they have a ton of tips for new collectors. Just literally start going out there with that. What I'd recommend if anyone's brand new to the sports card industry is focus on one sport first. So find your favorite sport, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, soccer, whatever it is, and just focus on that sport because there's so much to the sport rather than going out there and spreading yourself thin. Focus on one sport, you can learn the ins and out of that sport and then apply it to the other sports. If you go out there and try to learn 5 or 6 sports at once, you're not going to learn how the industry works and you're going to get really, really confused. So start with one sport, start learning who the best players are, why certain cards are expensive, why certain cards are cheap, and you're going to start realizing really fast different ways that you can start investing and make money in it.
Yeah, definitely great tip there, right? Just focus on one sport at a time, right? I think there's even some variation between the sports there. So yeah, if you're watching, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments here. I got one last one for you here, Ryan. We were talking about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. There's just this big push for all these digital assets. How does this affect the card industry?
Yeah, I think it's actually getting more people into the industry because you're getting now the crypto people that just focus on cryptocurrencies. Since NFT is a type of crypto, now they see like the NFT market. They're like, oh, I'm interested in these Top Shot moments, which if you guys don't know, NBA Top Shot is like the NFT of basketball cards. They have the license for all the videos. So there's a lot of people from the basketball and sports card market going into Top Shot. There's a lot of crypto people going straight into Top Shot. And just talking to people that are into it, I see a lot of people that are now getting into sports cards because of Top Shot. And I think as NFTs get more popular, sports cards are also going to get just as popular. And I think it goes back and forth. I think they're both different ways to invest your money instead of your traditional stocks, your traditional real estate, bonds, and everything like that. Now people are looking like, okay, what other ways can I make money? And if you look at NFTs or sports cards, people are getting 1,000 or 10,000% returns within a month or two, depending on who they invest in. You can't get that in a stock market unless it's a penny stock. And are sports cards, in a sense, a penny stock? Yeah, people are going to go out there and buy 10-cent rookie cards, and then within a few months, if a player does well, they're going to shoot up to $10, $20. But a lot of them are stable as well. If you look at a player that's already played 20 years, they're already in the Hall of Fame, what's going to ruin his stats? He's already retired. So you have to look at it from that angle as well.
Yeah, no, excellent point there. Yeah, Adrian, you should go reach out to Ryan here. Maybe he can assess some value here. Maybe you guys can get into the whole conversation. So yeah, Ryan, Adrian's a great person. I had a LinkedIn Live. He was on my LinkedIn Live show about 2 months ago. So it's a great person to connect with as well. So yeah, just to wrap up here, Ryan, is there anything you want to share? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to plug? How do you want how can you help people, or how do you want people to help you? I'll put your LinkedIn profile right here. Make sure you connect with Ryan. But yeah, Ryan, do you have anything you want to share at the end?
Yeah, a few things. So if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, it is Breakout Cards. I'm posting multiple times every week, probably 4 to 5 videos, along with a card show video as well. So check that out over there. Also, you can check out my Instagram, Breakout Cards. If you have any questions at all, reach out. I'll answer them as fast as I can and give you a lot of insights into the industry. And one other thing, since it is LinkedIn, I'm currently looking for a job in Orlando. So if anyone is in Orlando and looking for either like an analyst type position or an electrical engineer, I'm on the market right now. So reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing, Ryan. Yeah, so check out his YouTube channel. It's called Breakout Cards. Follow him on Instagram. It's also Breakout Cards. And yeah, help Ryan out. He's has an electrical engineering degree from UCF and is looking for a job in the area there. So make sure you connect with Ryan right here. So yeah, Ryan, thank you so much for your time here. I learned a lot. This was a completely brand new topic for me. I learned a lot. I'll go check out more of your videos. I will do some more of my research here. But no, you convinced me. We talked about the different type of cards, why this industry is so hot right now, and just basically how to get started. Some resources for you to learn more. Where to buy cards and just the different types of cards out there. So yeah, Ryan, thank you so much for joining.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for inviting me out.
Yeah, and then look, Adrian does he does a weekly LinkedIn Live, or at least twice a week. So make sure you connect with Adrian.
Awesome, Adrian. I'm down.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right.
Hey, thank you. Have a good weekend, man. Enjoy it.
Yeah, you too. Thanks to everyone for watching. And yeah, sports card trading is definitely very hot right now. A lot of potential here. And the key is, I think the key is to do your research, right? Be educated. You'll make some bad bets, but you want to make sure you make good bets as well. So do your research, and yeah, definitely a growing hot industry right now.
Absolutely. See you guys. Enjoy your weekends.
Right. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one, everyone.